Okay, I think we can start. Thank you once again for joining today's webinar on managing Solidworks data in Windchill. Let us look at the agenda for today. I will do a quick introduction of myself and PDSVISION and just explain a little bit the concept of digital thread. Go through the topic overview of things we would cover in today's session. Then have a live demonstration. Right at the end, we will then handle the questions and answer session. So if you have any question during the webinar, feel free to start typing your question in the questions session panel of this webinar. We'll definitely get to that at the end of our session. My name is Ephraim Puyeng. I am a certified Windchill implementer and trainer with over 8 years of experience on PDC products, specifically Windchill PLM tool. A bit about company. We are PDSVISION, formerly known as Boundary Systems. So a little history at the bottom there about the two companies. Boundary Systems was founded in 2006, whereas PDSVISION Group was founded in 2008. And then in 2018, PDS Group acquired Boundary Systems. So today we are known as PDSVISION. We regard ourselves as the technology leader, being the first PDC global reseller and the preferred services provider. We offer capabilities in consulting, implementation services, and by that I mean anything from Windchill implementation, training that goes with it, any consultation that goes with it, upgrades, support of the software, also for professional training on-site or visually. We also offer the cloud services. So for the company that doesn't need to assume the burden of having to look after the Windchill systems or IT having to look after the Windchill systems, we do host and maintain the customer systems. We also provide the help desk support. So if you look at the map on the right there, you would see those are all the entities that falls under PDSVISIONs. We cover a fairly good amount of time zones in terms of support and services. As I have mentioned, PDC is our main partner, but we do also partner with other solutions providers to make sure that we deliver a good and comprehensive solution to our customers that in essence meets their needs. But so there's a lot of explanations around what digital thread is. But in our world, it means it's a thread that basically creates a closed loop between the digital and the physical world, as it were, transforming how products are engineered, manufactured, and at the very end serviced while they're out on the field. So they basically follow a single set of related data as it moves in and out of the business processes and the functions to enable continuity and accessibility of this information. And it is not easy to just achieve this sort of digital thread in one go or at the very beginning of the implementation process. We have basically developed this set of rings, 4 rings, as we call them. First one being product visualization. So this is the inner ring where you basically start when you implement a PLM solution. You'd start by managing the requirements, the document, as well as just CAD management in there. And as that process of managing that information sort of matures, you will then move to the outer ring where you now start involving things like change management. Instead of having a separate system that does your change management, that is basically totally disconnected to the data that you actually managing change on, you can now manage that change directly in the PLM system. Also, things like BOM management, where you're able to generate and create a product structure, an EBOM, things like MBOM, your service BOM, if you need to. That is now on the second ring, and as that goes through the maturity level, you then link other systems like your ERP system, where you automate the pushing of the data, the material, the creation of material master automatically from Windchill system out to this ERP tools. You start managing your suppliers as well. So basically go in and say, if we need to purchase this particular component, these are the approved suppliers, these are our approved vendors that we can go to. And then the system also with that supply integration allows you to also blacklist the suppliers. So if we've had a bad experience with a certain supplier, we can go in and mark it in the system to show or reflect that if we need to purchase this, we do not go to the supplier at all. Also, management of your manufacturing processes, the process plans, the operations, the work instructions. Those are things that could be generated automatically in the system using the data that we spoke about in the first ring. And then eventually, once your product is out in the field, you would also want to monitor that product and see how it's performing, whether it's been used correctly, and if there's any issues that are picked up. That information is sort of fed back into your IoT system, and then when you're building a next generation of that product, you can basically improve using that information. Yeah. And that's the last info on the digital thread is that when you start on the building of your or creation of your design work, that information it's basically becomes the master of your processes downstream. So from that information, which is as design, the EBOM, you can then go in and build your MBOM as well as other manufacturing processes from it. So the process plans and so on from that, and also captures the as-built of your product. And then eventually as maintained information, so the service information, the service manuals, the training manuals, the user manuals, that sort of information, things like the parts list that you need to use to identify parts that needs to be serviceable and be bought. The information is also basically linked and is built from the master information upstream. So all that information is linked. The nice thing with that is if there's a change on the MBOM side that we're picking up on the manufacturing level or state, we can basically do an impact analysis. And if that information also affects our upstream EBOM, we can then involve them as part of that change. So that is the nice thing of having this whole flow of the digital threads, or the benefit of doing that. Back to the topic of today, I will just explain in details the benefits and the use of CAD data management or BOM management. I will also show the integration between Windchill and Solidworks and how that works, and then show and explain the workspaces in Windchill. What is a workspace in Windchill? What is a workgroup manager? And then what is it used for? And also how you basically go in and find information and make use of that information in the system. So the CAD management, so the capabilities that Windchill gives you is to allow you to create and manage parts and bill of material. I also call that bill of information because you can store any information that relates to a product, be it requirements, documents, specification documents, all that sort of information. You can tie that into your product structure or your product bill of material. And it also creates the dynamic visualization that delivers a lightweight representations for all users. So in every company, there's people that are not engineers, that doesn't do the actual designs, but they're required to be able to see this information. And at times, if they do not have a tool for it, if they don't have a SolidWorks tool to be able to open this files up, it becomes a problem or very difficult for them to see this information. So Windchill, when you push the data in or check the data into the system, it would automatically generate those lightweight views for you that you can use a viewer, it's called a Creo view, to basically open the model up or the drawing up in it and see it, analyze it, and, review it, add markups to it, red lines, and that sort of thing. So it's a very important tool for someone who's outside of engineering team, but they still need or require to see that information. Even guys on the shop floor, if they're looking at the drawing and it's not giving them as much details as they would like, they can always open a 3D model of that drawing and interrogate it, get information such as measurements from the section the model, just to look at it without actually making a design change on the model. The other one is it gives you that complete BOM definitions with concepts such as replacements and supersedes. So there's BOM that you can basically go in and create in Windchill. You can also set things like replacement components. If we are assembling this product and we don't have this component X, there is a component Y we can use in place of that. It allows you to do that, apply that to the BOM, and also import and export BOM via a range of methods. So I can go in and export out a BOM to a PDF output, go in and export BOM to an Excel in that sense. I don't have to go look at the drawing and then either from the drawing try to deduct and create my own bill of materials manually by typing it out in Excel. It's easy to make mistakes and errors in there. I can just export out BOM as is with the columns that I need out to an Excel. And if I want, I can further manipulate it in an Excel output file. And also the comparison. So if I want to look at what changed between this revision and the revision B and revision A, I can do that comparison, and the software will visually show me what's changed in terms of design or what changed in terms of attributes, for an example. And the big benefits for this tool is that it removes the silos by providing a complete product definition from all to work. So this is a web-based system. It can be accessed from anywhere in the world, and it also allows collaboration. So in one assembly, there could be 5 people working on that one assembly, just on different sub-assemblies in there. And then as I modify my bed and check it in, save it and check it in, someone on the next side, on the other side, who is working on that very same assembly in a certain sub-component, they can basically just pull down the changes that I've done, update the model of that changes, and it will immediately show in the live model the new changes that I've just checked in. So it allows that collaboration and also making sure that the team work together, reducing confusion and errors. If I have something checked out to me and I'm modifying it, everyone could still see the file. You could open it up, look at it, but they won't be able to modify it until I release it, until I check it in. And by doing that, I make it available for the other people to check it out. But as long as it's checked out to me, it sort of logs it. But it also gives visibility to say, this file is actually checked out to this specific person. So if I need to work on this model, I need to ask them to check it in. The information is visible in the system for me to see who's got the file checked out. It's got information about the history as we modify and check in the file. It's got information about who's modified it at what stage. That sort of audit trail information is kept in the system. And obviously this enables the enterprise to access, or everyone in the company to access the key product deliverables. So if at the end of a process we basically release our product for production, in that particular flow or process, we can also notify someone from the purchasing department to say the BOM is ready, it's been released. You can go into the system and extract out that bill of material. It can notify the guys on the shop floor, the production, to say the BOM has been released for production. You can go into the system and then print out the drawings if you need to, or view the release drawing if you need to. Okay. Yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about there. And then the SolidWorks integration to Windchill itself is that once there's a tool called Workgroup Manager. It's a piece of software that you install on the system that has got SolidWorks, and you basically integrate that tool with SolidWorks. As soon as you've done that, when you open up your SolidWorks, this is what it gives you. It's got a new ribbon called PDC Windchill at the very top with the functions that you can perform in Windchill. And also, not only that, if you're looking at the module 3 of your components or your assembly, right click on it. There is also a PDC Windchill menu that is available on there. View by just the right click menu for Windchill. And then this is a very secure file management system, in the sense that not everyone would have access to the system. You would need to have the login credentials to get into the system. And also, not only that, we can also set sort of roles and permissions based on those roles for a specific product. So I can go in and say, okay, the manufacturing team would only have a read-only access to this information, and they will only see this information once it is released for production. While it's still in working design mode, they won't be able to see that data up until it gets released at the end, and then it will be available to them. It can also give people like the product managers full access to the system, that they can go in and delete certain files at a certain stage in the life cycle. And yeah, that basically is totally controlled. And it also has the access controlled vaulting of data. So the Windchill system itself has got a couple of components to it. One of it being the database. What it does is, in the database, be it SQL or Oracle database, it will store only the metadata about the Windchill components, and then the actual files, the actual drawings, the actual SolidWorks files are pushed into what we call Vault folder, which is a physical folder on the server. But that information there, it is not stored as SolidWorks files. It is basically encrypted. So even if someone gets hold of that information, they won't be able to decrypt that information and access it. It will only be accessible or visible through the Windchill interface. And then there's also status messages that you would get as you checking in your data. For instance, you'd see on here, it's telling you that data was checked in successfully at the very end. So it was uploaded, the check-in started, and then the check-in is successful. The nice thing with this is when you get an error, the information that you get is so descriptive that you can basically go in and fix that issue without having to look at a case with SolidWorks or having to look at a case with us regarding the error. It's so descriptive that it will explain the exact reason for something failing to check in. And I mean, you can follow that information to fix the issue. Yeah, that is the ribbon that I've just talked about. Then the next thing that I mentioned that we said is actually integrates your Windchill with your Windchill with your SolidWorks. There's this tool here that's called the Windchill Workgroup Manager. Piece of software installed on the system, and then it basically gives you the Windchill interface in there. And directly from this interface, I can open a SolidWorks file, and then it will automatically launch SolidWorks file or SolidWorks for me and open that file in SolidWorks. This is typically used by the designers or the CAD engineers who are actually modifying and making this Solidworks files. Yeah, they will basically have this, and we'll talk about this as we go through the demo as well. Then the other thing that is also there is the workspace. So workspace is like a private working space. It's a private working space, and it is also something that basically interfaces Windchill with your CAD application with Windchill. It's like that working working space that interacts or facilitate communication between your CAD application and Windchill. And I'll talk about the way it actually works in the next slides here. So at any given time, because this is a private space that you're working in, any user can go in and create their own workspace and then specify which product that they creating this workspace for. You can give it any name, any descriptive name, and then specify where you creating this or in which product you're creating this in. And yeah, then that becomes your working space. Only you can see this workspace. It's private to you. And then this is how the workspace actually works. The important bit at the top here is you have this workspace, but the workspace in the background, it's sort of split into two. They call it a client-side workspace and a server-side workspace. And the reason for that is for performance. So if you opening something in Windchill system, it takes that file, pushes it into the server-side workspace, into the client-side workspace, which is locally on your PC. And the file that you're working on, you're modifying, you're saving, is actually saved locally on your system. There's a local cache that it creates on your system for that. So it's to make sure that the performance that you get out of the system, it's 100% performance, because the file is local, it's not on the network, it's not going through any network. And then what happens is, if you hit save on this file, it's actually saving that file to the local cache. Important to mention that this means that if I've made a change on this file and I've just hit save, and something were to happen to my PC, it would mean I have lost that particular change that I've done here. So the important thing to do every time, if you don't want to check in your data at the end of the day, you don't want to check in this file because you're still working on it, but you don't also want to lose the changes on the file. You'd normally upload that file. When you upload it, it takes the changes from the local workspace onto the server-side workspace. It's still not checked in. The other guys still can't see your modified changes. But the good thing is, as part of the server backups, data gets backed up as well. So if something were to happen to your PC, you would definitely still be able to retrieve those saved changes from the server side. And when you check in, that data is shared with the rest of the people in the team, and then checked in, released from your log, and they can start using that as well. Then there's also functions like save and upload, which basically saves the file and then pushes it to the server side workspace. Right. Okay, so this is also just talking about the workspace here. Is yeah, when you basically check in this file into the system, as I said earlier, it would basically create a 3D lightweight that could be used by other departments that are not using CAD tools to access that information. And then this is just showing you the attributes and parameters that you'd see for a specific component when you're looking at it from the Windchill side. So you're looking at the details page of this on the Windchill side. It gives you the details about the attributes of this file. So I can see who modified the file. I can see the status of the file name, the name, and when it was last modified. There's also additional attributes that we will look at when we jump into the demo in a bit. Yeah. Okay. So that is all I wanted to cover as far as theory information goes on this. The next thing would be the demo, the live demonstration. So as a SolidWorks user who's using Windchill, to start accessing my information, I would launch this application here, which is the Workgroup Manager. I'll open it up. So as soon as it opens up, you will see it asks me for my username and password, my credentials to get into the server. So I've now saved mine. I will go ahead and click OK to accept those, and then it logs me into this Workgroup Manager. I wanna just show you how to basically integrate the two. So to integrate this to SolidWorks is I would go in and register SolidWorks as an application. So in this case, I'm using SolidWorks 2022. Windchill today supports up to SolidWorks 2023. So I'll go ahead and just register this as an application. So register new application, specify the SolidWorks version that I'm registering, and then register that. Once I've done that, I'll then go in and now register this Workgroup Manager application to my Windchill server using that Windchill URL. As I said, Windchill is a web-based application. You basically need the URL and the login credentials to be able to access the system. Right, so you'll see that I've given my server name, that name over there, and then this here is the workspace. This is my default workspace or private working space that I will be working from. And then if I quickly show you the contents of this workspace, it is currently fairly empty. Once we have populated stuff in here, I will explain all the icons that you see over there. I just want to start from the common space side here. So this is on the Windchill side where your data actually resides. So in here, I'm going to first go to the home page just to explain some of the tables on here. So in the Windchill, as you log in, there's a couple of tables on the home page that you would see. There's one that says my tasks table. So this will be the tasks that are assigned to you. If I am an engineering manager, for an example, and I am responsible for approving everything that needs to be released for production, when they create an approval process or a promotion process, they try and promote the files that were in work or in design to release. They will create the promotion process for that, and then I will receive, as an engineering manager, I will receive a task that says I need to go in and approve a particular promotion. So I'll basically go in, look at the files that are in there, review them using that Clear View tool, and then if I'm happy with everything, I can go ahead and approve that. Or if I need to send it back, I can send it back through that same process for rework. And then if also your system is set with the email system or your company email system, you'll also receive an email that says there's a task that you need to approve. And then the checked out work, it's exactly that. It will show everything that has been checked out by you, that you're currently working on. This gives me a quick access to this information, and I can quickly open that information in SolidWorks and continue working on it. And then my workspace is just those private workspaces that I've talked about. And you'll notice in my case here, I've got a couple of those, and they are, the context here is a product. It means a product. So I've got a workspace for every product that I'm working on. That is also a best practice in terms of using Windchill. And then on every page or Windchill page that you land on, you'll always see this quick simple search. So I can basically specify the type that I'm searching for. Whether it's a part, it's a document, or it's a CAD document, so a SolidWorks file, and then put in a keyword, a search keyword for this. So in this case, I can go in and just search for, I know I've got a model called forklift. I'm just going to search for that, and then you'll see it quickly returns my results, so everything that's got a forklift in it. The drawing that relates to this, an actual assembly, Solidworks assembly, SLDASM, and also another component that relates to this. The other cool function about this that I'll also show later is if I know how this particular product looks or component looks, but I don't know the name of it, if I hover my mouse over that image icon there, it basically loads that 3D representation, that lightweight that I talked about, onto that viewing area. And this is also interactive, so I can rotate this, I can zoom in and zoom out. And I also see additional attributes that relates to this particular file here. I can see the product that it's saved under. I can see the state that it is currently under. I can see the revision or the version of it at this stage. I can also on the right here see the components that it uses. So the components that are used to make up this complete product. And if I want to at any stage look at any of this component, I can simply click on them on here, and then it will also load in the viewing area on here. And from here, I can also see where this component is actually used, which is on that top level assembly on there. If I go to the details of this forklift assembly on here, you would see we get to see additional attributes on here. I can see the application, the CAD application that was used to author this model. I can see things like custom attributes if I have. So you can go in and create your custom attributes that are not out of the box in the system. Things like material, description, weight. You can create those custom attributes. And as you check in your model from your side, not the Creo, but the SolidWorks side, it basically pushes those attributes to Windchill as well. So now from here, as a designer, I can quickly just go in and say, I want to open this model in SolidWorks. As soon as I do that, you will see the messages that I talked about. It is telling me now that it's actually added this in Workspace. And then it is now in the process of opening the SolidWorks for me. So it will open that SolidWorks and immediately open that file in SolidWorks as well. Okay. All right, that's done. Our model is now opened in SolidWorks. So one thing I wanted to bring to your attention here is this is the ribbon that I talked about, the PDC Windchill ribbon. So I can use this particular ribbon here to check out, check in, and do checkout, open something directly from Windchill on here. And if I also go in and just open one of these components here. From the module tree here as well, I can right click. There's also a PDC Windchill function here that allows me to check out, view the details of this and do all sort of things. So without leaving the application itself, I'm able to do all those things. Make sure I modify the file, I check it out, check it in, I open the files directly from the tool itself here. And if I go back again to my workspace that we talked about here, you will see that the items that I have now opened, or that assembly that I've now opened, they are now added into our primary primary workspace here. And this is all the components that makes up that fork assembly. And I just wanted to explain some of the components on here. So from this workspace itself, I can also check in something that's been checked out. I can also pick on a particular component. Let's maybe look at the tire. So I can pick on that tire and just check it out. So by checking out here, I am basically locking this so no one can modify this file at this stage. It is checked out to me. And if I go in as a different person, it will tell me exactly that this file is checked out to this particular user. And if I need to just to remove that checkout tag on this, I can go in and just undo checkout of this file. And at the given time, I can also go in and just update the out-of-date versions that are in my workspace. So if someone is working on a certain sub-assembly for this particular fork assembly, and they modified something, they checked it in, I want to see the changes in my Solidworks, I can go in and update the workspace so that it shows me the latest in here. And one other thing I want to talk about here is this revision. So if something is released and it's locked, I cannot modify it at that time. The next thing that you'll need to do if something is released would be to revise it. So I can just click on it and then just revise that object. Then it will automatically revise that, that object for me. I can also go in and add or re-add or add new components that are missing in this workspace. When I look at a specific drawing, I can basically click on add such a drawing and put it into my workspace. I can go in and create a new Solidworks file from scratch directly using the Windchill template. Yeah, and then this is just to refresh my workspace on here. So there's another thing I want to show you. So as you modify a specific file, there's icon or indicators that shows that the file has been modified, the file has been uploaded, the file has been saved, and so on. So I'm going to go into back into the Solidworks file and open that tire assembly, and it is already checked out. So I'm going to go in and change something in the description. So I'm going to add some details to this description here, and then go in and just save this file. Right? I get that message that says the file has been saved at the bottom here. And then if I go back to my workspace and just look at it, you would see there's two indicators next to that tire. And the two indicators simply means this model, the first one simply means this model can be uploaded to Windchill. So I can pick on it and upload my changes to Windchill. And then the plus sign simply means the file has been locally modified. So it is stored in the local cache, in the local workspace. It is not known on the server side at this stage. And then what I'll then do is I can go in and upload this file so that it's now saved on the server side workspace. And then you'll see the indicator for upload is now removed. Once I'm happy and I need to check this in, I can simply do this from this workspace here. Select the file, check it in, and then finish. And my file is checked in. I'm getting those messages that tells me that my file has been successfully checked in. And because we've made changes to this file, I just want to also show you quickly. If I go to the details of this file, there is a tab here for history. So history basically keeps all the changes or the history changes that we've done. So at any stage, I can go back to this A2 and see what the file looked at that stage. So this information, this history trail is kept throughout the development process. And as I said, at any time, you can go to the older revision of the file, older version of the file to check how it looked. And then yeah, that file is checked in. Then once we've checked in everything, we've modified, and we're happy that our fork assembly is completed, I can basically go in and create a promotion process for this. So I'm going to search for my fork assembly inside of this folder, and then I can go in and say, from this fork assembly, I want to go ahead and create a new promotion for this. Create a new promotion, and I can go in and give it a descriptive name. This would be initial release of this assembly, and then on the next page here, I can go and say collect all the subcomponents that makes up this assembly, all the related things that make up this assembly. And I know my assembly also has a drawing. I can also go in and collect that particular drawing at this stage. This is our drawing. And then I'm going to go and say I'm setting this for release. So it could be a production release, or it could be a prototype, releasing it for release. And I'm basically going in and marking them for promotion. And then on the next, or the third stage here, this is where I'll go in and specify who would need to promote this. But for my product, I've already configured the product to also have a promotion approval role. And then I already have someone in that role. So I have myself as the approver. So as soon as I submit this, I will then get a task to approve this process. So I'll go ahead and complete my promotion. Confirmation that says the promotion has been created. So I am now going to log in as myself. I'm now in as Ephraim. And then if I now navigate back to the home page here, this is the task that we've just created now. This is the task that says I need to approve something. So at this stage, as an approver, I would go into this approval process. There's instructions on what I need to do on this. I can then go into the promotion objects, look at the fork assembly that we're looking to promote. So because I don't have Solidworks, I'll basically go in and open this in a viewer. Open this in Creo View. It's asking me to log in. I'm logging in on the other screen. I'll bring it on your screen in a bit. Yeah, this is the Creo View that's been open. I can go in and load that model into my viewing area. So this is the model. I can look at the model. A couple of things I can also do here is I can look at this wheel rim and I want to check what is the diameter of this. As part of my review, I'll go in and check that. So it gives me the diameter of that. If there's anything that I wanna do on this, I can also do. If I feel like there's something that they need to change, I can also communicate that using this. So I can go in and create a note with leader. Note with leader. I just want to put it to the tire here. Can go in and say, all right, so we need to change material on this tire, for an example. So natural rubber X123. So I can go in and communicate this sort of information using this particular tool here. And then you'll see in here there's a couple of functions that I can use to basically check and interrogate, review this model, and communicate information back. So in this case, we don't really need to do anything here. We've reviewed this in Creo View. I can simply then go in and approve that task. Go in and approve this task. And you will see there's options that I have here. I can go in and reject this. See, I'm rejecting it. It will go back and notify the creator of this that it's been rejected. With what reasons? I can add my reasons in the comment section here. I can send it back for rework with those comments. And then it go back to the creator to apply whatever I have communicated in this rework. Otherwise, if I'm happy with everything, I can approve it. Everything looks good here. We approve it, we complete this task. And then as soon as we do that, you will see that our assembly then goes to the released. Assembly goes to the released. And then as part of that workflow, promotion workflow, we could have a part in that workflow that notifies the procurement department that the BOM is ready, that can notify the production as well, that the BOM is ready for them. And then at any stage, someone from procurement would go into the structure of this and then get out a BOM report from this. So simply get the multi-level BOM report from this, and then you will see my report has got all levels in this structure, level 1, level 2, and it also have quantities to it. There's quantities, there's the number, there's the state that is released, and importantly, there's also description and the material information. And this information that I'm showing you here, the description and the material, is information that's actually been set on Solidworks side. And while I was checking in the file, this information was pushed from Solidworks into the Windchill system. Then from here, I've got a couple of export methods available to me: CSV, HTML, Excel, and so on. So go ahead and just export this out to Excel. And then save it out. So this is successfully exported. If I were to go back and just show you that bill of material, how you would look in that exported sheet. This is what it would look. Then other companies would take this bill of material from Excel or as a CSV format and then pull it into their ERP system, or maybe use it to basically go out and purchase material, purchase components that are necessary to manufacture or assemble this particular product. So that is the information that you basically get at the very end. The other thing that I wanted to just show or just share with the drawing here. So I've got a drawing. You also see that the drawing also has that image, so I can see the details of the drawing. But what is also saved as part of this drawing is a PDF version of that drawing. So if I go to the content in this table here, I can right-click and basically download a PDF that is automatically created as I checked in this drawing. So I can open that PDF up, and then this is the PDF format drawing. That revision, all the information that you need, it's available and ready for you. So you don't have, or someone in manufacturing doesn't have to go to the design office to ask for these drawings and interrupt the work that the guys are doing in design. This information is readily available for them in the system. They can go into the system and get this information out directly from the system. The one last thing I want to show is with the revision. If I go back to my forklift assembly, at this stage it is released. In a formal process, if we need to modify this, we would need to take it through the change process. So Windchill does offer the change process in it. There's an out-of-the-box change process that follows the normal standard that most of the companies follow. You can do it through that flow. So we will have a webinar on that later this year on the change management. But the more informal way of making changes to this once it's released would be to revise it. So I can simply right-click on this assembly and then revise it. And what it will then do is it will apply a new revision to this files. So I can also go in and say, bring in the drawing as well. And then you'll see that the new revision for all these drawings here, or this components here, would now be B. If I don't need to create revisions for this other ones, I can always say that I'm only looking for the main assembly. So I am just gonna set the dependent to none, and this is the only thing I want to revise, as well as its related drawing. And then I can go in and simply revise this, and then you will see it was released. You'll see now it will go back to the in work state. But then if I go to history, I still have access to that, so it's released. I still have access to that old revision. And the nice thing with this, when we talk about traceability as well, is looking at this, I can see what sort of process authorized the release of this component. This is that promotion release I talked about. So I can easily go into this and I can see when was it promoted, and the information about that promotion. It is available in that history. The other thing, just one last thing to show here is if I go to this fork assembly as well, still talking about traceability, is if I go to related objects, I also have that function of where used. So at any stage, I can, if I'm changing that fork assembly and I'm doing an impact analysis of this, I can simply come into this where used table, and I can see exactly which assemblies is this fork assembly used at, and basically check if it does impact the top level assembly as well. That is all I wanted to cover for today in this session. I mean, if you need to see this and have it demoed to your team in your company, I mean, we can obviously arrange that through a sales process. So at this stage, I'm going to go back to my presentation here and check if there is any questions in the questions section here. Right, I'm trying to get to the questions. So we use both Creo and SolidWorks. Can we open Creo files in SolidWorks through Windchill? And unfortunately, it only works the other way around. You can use the SolidWorks files in Creo, and I think PDC is still working on that interaction where you can use Creo files in SolidWorks. There is a webinar that's coming up, I think sometime in July, where we will be showing how to basically use Creo and SolidWorks. And as I said, only SolidWorks files could be used in Creo in a native format, but not the other way around. Okay. Does Windchill have design exploration functionality for SolidWorks files? I know it does for Creo. I know it does for Creo. Chances are it works exactly the same for SolidWorks, but still, this is something I can find out on and give you a definite answer. But I know it works for Windchill, for Creo. Yeah. The other question: will you send a link to download a recording of this demo? So the demonstration, this webinar, it is going to be uploaded in our PDSVISION YouTube channel. I will share it in the next slide just here. It will be uploaded on there. You can always go watch it in there. If you need to download it, yeah, I think you should be able to download it from there as well. There was a recap. The next one is long-term user of Windchill. The transition to SolidWorks will be easy. Will there be a link to this video? Yes, that will be available in YouTube. Yes, that will definitely be available in YouTube to share with your colleagues. And as I said, we also available if you wanna expand on the demo and have this demo to your customer or to your colleagues. We are flexible like that. This is just to mention that we do provide training virtually in center or on site as well, something that I talked about earlier. And lastly, if you have any technical question regarding what we've covered today, feel free to drop me an email, ipuyeng@pdsvision.us. We try to revert back to you with answers as quickly as possible. So do that. If you have any sales question, you want to have a demo, you want to explore this further, you wanna trial Windchill, for an example, in our cloud environment, and you need discussions around that, sales@pdsvision.us. Any information on PDSVISION, our website, pdsvision.com. As I said, this video, if you need to download, share, rewatch, share the link with your colleagues, it will be available on YouTube under PDSVISION. I would say give it a day or so, and it will be available. At this stage, we'd like to thank everyone for attending, and yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.